Carlos DeCubas. I'm his oldest son.
Jorge DeCubas. One of the earliest memories I have quite a few, but you were in kindergarten, I think, at that time, and I was actually going with him over to practice, and the Olympic team was training at the Miramar Yacht Club, which we lived a couple blocks away, and they had an ocean-fed swimming pool. And one morning he went up there and gave the swimmers their assignment, their workout, and then he starts walking away with me towards his office. And he turns around and looks back and he sees that the swimmers have gotten out of the water. And so he yells at them and tells them, "Hey, get back in the water, get back in the water. If you guys don't get back in there, there's going to be trouble." And they gave him a sign that's for universal love, using your middle finger. And so he storms back over there mad as heck, and he looks in the swimming pool and he sees a shark that's in the pool. And of course that's the reason they had jumped out, was because the shark had gotten through the ocean-fed grates there at Miramar Yacht Club. You know, we were talking about this earlier, and I said that Dad had a very, the only words I can use was a very soft approach to coaching. And Carlos commented that he never saw him get angry, and it's true. I don't think I ever saw him berate a student or get mad at a student. He had a very parental way of motivating athletes, and his manner was very humble. That I think one of his great skills as a coach was students liked him so much that they wanted to perform for him.
Right.
Would you say that?
Yeah, and we don't really know much about his actual athletic achievements. You know, we only knew him as coach, I think. By the time I was old enough to really recall stuff, you know, I left Cuba when I was 8, so, and he would have been 4 or 5. 4, so we just don't really recall a whole lot of Dad as an actual athlete, as far as in competition. Now, did a lot of playing of stuff with him, like he taught us handball, badminton, like he was saying,
and
you know, and
all the racket sports. He taught me trampoline because of the natural extension of diving.
Well, he was a born teacher. I mean, that's really what Dad loved to do, was teach, and that's all he liked to do. He hated any kind of management. You try to make him sit at a desk or anything. I think they tried to make him athletic director at Birmingham Southern after Battle left, I think they said. And he might have done it for a few months or so, but
budgets and things like that.
Yeah, paperwork. Oh, he just detested it. All he liked to do was the hands-on coaching, basically. That was it. And and he loved to teach anything. I mean, that was one thing he taught. I know at Georgia Tech he taught swimming, but volleyball, tennis classes, fencing. That's right. So he could teach just about anything, and he did a lot of that at Tech.
He could see somebody. He saw Jenny Chandler in a swimming pool doing breaststroke, and pulled her out of the pool and had her get on the diving board over at Mountain Brook. And after 2 or 3 dives, he told her parents she could be a world champion. And I don't think that comes from any other place than having that artistic eye. The Havilland Games, the Atlanta version of the Havilland Games was sponsored by Coca-Cola, and it is why he ended up at Ansley Golf Club, because Harry, when Dad called Harry and said, "Hey, I'm in the United States. I've left Cuba. See if you can find any kind of employment with me." At that time, we were still serving drinks on the beach, down in Miami
Beach.
And so Harry called Asa Candler of the Candler Coca-Colas. Asa was a member of the Ansley Golf Club, and Asa also gave him an apartment down there in Ansley Park to stay at for free for a number of months until Dad got on his feet. And so that's how he ended up at Ansley Golf Club. Okay. You know, Dad was never a guy that sought awards or even accolades. I think he measured his performance in the type of people that he coached, the character of the person that they've evolved into. And obviously their performance in whatever skill it was very important. I know he was extremely proud in a very subtle way of Jennifer Chandler. And
Well, that was definitely his crowning achievement. I mean, I've never seen. She called him up the night she won the Olympics from Montreal to thank him and told him, you know, I never would have done it without you. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone with a more satisfied look on their face than my dad the next day. I can almost see him still sitting in the chair, and he was just kind of glowing and just so, you know, matter of pride, and that he achieved what he set out to do with her, even though he didn't get to be there, because, you know, they took her away from him to like the last year and put him with whoever that
Ron O'Brien,
the Olympic coach was, to try to get her, you know, on the team more.
Which wouldn't have mattered because Jenny was so good that
Yeah.
she was going to be in the Olympics anyway. But that's, you know, that's the kind of politics that coaches have to deal with. But you know what? I never found him bitter at all about that. It was clear who had raised her and coached her as an athlete. But you know, many of the people that are in the Georgia Aquatic Hall of Fame were his former students, and look at the people that they are. They're great people.
Well, he was a great father too.
Yeah, good
I will
point.
say that, you know, and because you mentioned that kind of was a question before, and he'd been real proud. I mean, Dad was a great dad. I mean, he was a great father. We were really lucky.